Have you ever considered being a bounty hunter and making thousands of dollars busting big-time criminals? It might not be the safest job out there, but someone has to do it. From high-ranking cartel leaders to criminals who've been on the run for decades evading authorities. Here is the top 10 FBI's most wanted list. Number 10. Bhadradesh Kumar Patel. A $100,000 reward is available if you're able to provide any information on the arrest of this man from India. On April 12, 2015, he was working with his wife at a donut shop in Hanover, Maryland, and the crime took place. The situation between him and his new young wife, Palak Patel, was getting a little bit complicated. They had moved to the States and wanted things to work out together, but their visa had expired. It seemed as though he wanted her to stay, and the argument escalated to homicide. Bhadradesh Kumar brutally took his wife's life when it's believed he overheard her telling a friend in India on the phone that she wanted to go back home. This is when the homicide took place. Afterwards, he grabbed some money from his apartment and went to a hotel in Newark, New Jersey. He later went to the airport and has been charged with an unlawful flight. He's described as being 5'9" and weighing 165 pounds. His disappearance has been quite mysterious and no one's really sure where he's at. Number 9. Yasir Abdel Saeed. Originally from the country of Egypt, this man is known to alter his appearance to avoid detection. Yet sometimes, suspiciously, there's up to a $100,000 reward for tips leading to the arrest of this man, and he's known for wearing sunglasses indoors. Often seen at diners such as Denny's and IHOP, it's possible he could be lurking around in New York, Texas, Virginia, Canada, or Egypt. Accused of some awful crimes against his family, and Texas authorities are on alert. Here is accused of homicide because he couldn't handle the fact that someone was going to marry one of his daughters in Vegas. Both of the daughters, however, suffered the consequences. On the run for over 10 years now, and still no justice. He's measuring in at 6'1", and no one can figure out what happened to him. Flight records prove that Yasir made it out of the country, but the FBI seems to think that he could have taken a domestic flight to New York City. We all know New York is pretty big, but if you can spot him, you could get rich. His last sighting was at the Newark airport as well. Is there something wrong with security at this airport or what? Number 8. Alejandro Rosales Castillo. Some people are just downright brutal even when it comes to just a little bit of money. Alejandro Rosales Castillo is wanted for the homicide of his former co-worker Sandy, who lent him money. At a local business in Charlottesville, the two had arranged a meeting where he would give her back the money that he owed her. But that was not his plan. Charged at first degree, the crime occurred, and this all took place while he was still a teenager. A few years have gone by, and now Alejandro is still on the loose. He's 5'6" and 185 pounds with black hair. He has family in Phoenix, Arizona, but he could still be out there anywhere. It's unclear if he's gang affiliated, but the victim's car was found in Arizona at the bus station in Phoenix, Arizona. He started driving back to Mexico, and his last image was captured on camera when he snuck across the border in 2016. Experts believe he's most likely still south of the border in territories such as Aguascalientes, Guanajuato, and Veracruz. The FBI also warns that he has skills in escaping and can be violent suddenly. Authorities urge information to embassies in Mexico if you know anything. Number 7. Alex Flores. The man's real name is Alexis Flores, but he goes by many aliases. Eye out if you hear the name Mario Flores, Mario Roberto Flores, Mario F. Roberto, Alex Contreras, Alexis Contreras, and others. Nationality is Honduran, and he's wanted by the FBI for the alleged kidnapping and murder of a 5-year-old girl in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. This is certainly one bad hombre we don't want roaming around freely. He's been on the loose for over 10 years, and no one is really too sure how old he is. He could be anywhere from 36 to about 43 years old. He uses various birthdays on his IDs to throw off authorities. It's almost like he's vanished into thin air and not many leads have been made. He's about 5'4" and 140 pounds. And a ton of information on this guy, but one thing is certain, police need your help finding him. Brown eyes and dark hair, and he's expected to be armed and dangerous. Number 6. William Bradford Bishop. One of the more recent additions to the FBI's most wanted list, we need to get this guy behind bars ASAP. He's wanted for the alleged homicide of much of his family, including his mother, sons, and wife, and has surprisingly been able to stay on the run despite his old age of 82 years old. This makes him the oldest criminal on this list. He has a very high IQ and can speak English, French, Italian, Serbo-Croatian, and Spanish. Quite old by now, he showed off skill as a hiker and outdoorsman during his experience in Africa. More difficult to find, and it could partly be due to the fact that he's a pilot. On the run for almost 4 decades now, and police are taking any leads very seriously. Crimes were committed in Baltimore, Maryland, but the bodies of his family members were found in North Carolina. For violent outbursts and was a former member of the U.S. State Department. Up to $100,000 will be rewarded. Number 5. Robert Williams Fisher. The FBI is offering up to a $100,000 reward for information leading to the arrest or conviction of Robert Williams Fisher. This crazy guy is convicted of blowing up his house in Scottsdale, Arizona with his family inside, and justice needs to be brought ASAP. It's unbelievable how people can get away with ridiculous and cruel crimes for so long. He's known to be physically fit at his age at 57. Weighing in at 190 pounds and 6 foot tall, he has a noticeable dental crown on his upper left bicuspid tooth, and to walk in a bizarre fashion due to a lower back injury from before. To his older years, it's very possible he could be bald. FBI agents have come up with age-enhanced photos of what he might look like now. With a price like $100,000, agents have received a ton of tips, but still none have been useful. Some believe he's actually been living off-grid for the past 15 years. He's known for his crafty outdoorsman skills and hunting. The hardest part about finding this guy, authorities believe, is being able to identify him. Well, he's completely changed his identity and has fake identification cards, the whole works. If you know anything about his location, let the police know. Number 4. Eduardo Ravelo. Also known as Tablas, the FBI is offering up to $100,000 for information leading to his arrest or conviction. Not only is he the highest-ranking capo of the Barrio Azteca gang, he's also the shot caller of the criminal enterprise. U.S. citizen and consulate worker got caught up in the crossfire while driving through Juarez, Mexico for a birthday party. Lee Enriquez, who was pregnant, and her husband were shot down senselessly, and it's believed that Eduardo had something to do with it. Authorities want to take out his criminal activities and put an end to the violence along our borders. This would also bring a huge amount of justice for Leslie and her family. Getting him off the streets will make the world a safer place. The crime took place about 7 years ago, and with it being a high-profile U.S. government worker, he could expect some extra heat from the U.S. It's believed he may have had plastic surgery to alter his appearance, but his tattoos might be what gets him turned in. You can see from this photo that his tats take up pretty much his entire upper body, and he most likely wouldn't remove it due to his close ties with the gang. Number 3. Santiago Villalba Medeiros. Here's the newest addition to the FBI's most wanted list, and the FBI is looking for your help to bring him to prison. Also known as Pucho and Stretch, the FBI is certainly after this next criminal after he committed murder on random victims driving a car in Tacoma, Washington. Up to a $100,000 reward is available for his arrest as well, and he's a top criminal in the Pacific Northwest. He's 26 years old now, but when he was only 19, he pulled the trigger on 2 separate occasions. Bred in the U.S., he's believed to be an active gang member of the East Side Locote Sureños gang and speaks perfect English. This gang has terrorized the state of Washington, and recently, members were put in jail who were charged with drive-bys. Getting Santiago off the streets will certainly cool things down a little bit. He's believed to be of slender build and about 5 foot 11 inches tall. His tattoos are also noticeable, the letter S on his shoulder. Considering how young he was, it's very possible he's committed more crimes since then. So keep your eye out. Number 2. Jason Derek Brown. In November of 2004, Jason Derek Brown attacked an armed vehicle full of cash in Phoenix, Arizona. He killed a security guard and took off. He's been on the run ever since with the loot and has seemingly disappeared off the face of the planet. He speaks French fluently and has a master's degree in international business. As a part of the Latter-day Saints community originally, he served his mission in Paris, France, and has a good ability to adapt to different countries. He might be seen showing off his fancy cars or boats and gloating at nightclubs. It certainly hasn't been easy to find him due to his international skills, and it's very possible he could be hiding out in Europe. Due to his evasiveness, the FBI is bumping up the reward to $200,000 for any info leading to his whereabouts. And number 1. Rafael Caro Quintero. Before you become an undercover agent, just keep in mind the job can put your life in risk, especially when dealing with a cartel. The largest reward so far the FBI is willing to give up is $20 million for information leading to the arrest or conviction of Rafael Caro Quintero. He's wanted for the murder, kidnapping, and torture of a DEA agent. Not only that, but he's also playing a Godfather-type leadership role of the Sinaloa cartel. He's made a lesson clear that he has no tolerance for informants. That's why the reward is so high in comparison to other criminals. He felt as though the DEA informant was responsible for various raids on his organization and plantations. All took place back in 1985, and despite trying to get help from the local government, the US is still looking for him. He has close ties to Guadalajara, Jalisco, and he could be in Costa Rica. Not being his physical prime anymore, but him and his crew could be some of the most dangerous men in the world. At the age of 65 years old, he has a tall and slender build at about 6 foot and 170 pounds. If you know anything about this guy, call the FBI, but just be careful.